I just wanted to say something about negative numbers, and all I wanted to say was you already know how to deal with negative numbers. Alright, so if we look at our, remember before I started with a black hole, right? So I'm going to start with my black hole again, right? And then I'm going to draw our number line that we know about, right? And here's all the numbers that we have, right? So let's say this is number 13, right? And well, 13 plus 1 would just be one more step on the number line to be over here. And you can tell me that that's 14. Vice versa, if I went 13 minus 4, well, I know that I would jump 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. And I could see that that's 12, 11, 10, 9, right? 13 minus 4 would be 9. 13 plus 1 is 14. Okay, probably the way I think that's probably smart to look at this is to, well, read this the same way when we have a negative number system. Okay, so when we have negative numbers here, these are all going to be negative numbers. Okay, I'm starting from a black hole, but what I've done is I've switched it. Right, you're used to seeing the negative numbers over here, and these being negative, and these being the positive numbers. But you know what? I'm going to change all that around, and I'm going to make all the ones you see here just the negative numbers. Okay, so these are all negative. These ones up here are the positive ones going that way, and these ones are the negative ones going that way. Okay, so same thing, and I have negative 13. Well, guess what? If I have negative 13 minus a negative 1, what I'm going to do is react the same way I did over here. If I have negative 13 minus negative 1, I'm going to jump back one more negative this way, and I get negative 12. If I have negative 13 plus a negative 1, I'm going to jump this way, right? And I'm going to get negative 14. Now the interesting thing is when you mix positives and negatives together, because if you can see here, I've got both my numbers that I care about that I'm using are both negative, and here too. And up here, both the numbers that I'm using are, I can put a plus there, are both positive numbers. And the same thing here, really. I'm using positive 13 minus a positive 4, okay? So I just am going along this number line. Well, let's explore that for a second. I'll put my black hole, and I will draw the positive number line like you're used to seeing over here, and in magenta I'll draw the negative number line like you're used to seeing over here. Okay, and just draw a couple slashes on there and a couple slashes on here. And let's say I start at, I don't know, 2. Okay, this is a 2 right there. There's my 2. And I have 2 and I want to take away 4 from it. Alright, so what I do is I jump 4 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I end up in the negative world here. Okay? I end up actually 1, 2 negatives. Right? So that equals negative 2. Alright, but what if I start at what if I end up doing like negative 2 minus 4? Right? Negative 2 minus 4. Well, what can that be? Okay, so I'm going to start at my black hole again. But now I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to write my positives over here, right? So as they get further and further away from the black hole, they get bigger, all the way up to there. And I'm going to write my negatives over here, right? So same thing, as they get further and further away from the black hole, the negatives become larger in the negative world, right? So this is like negative 13. Well, let's say I start at negative 2, okay? I'm going to call this one here negative 2, even though it's not exactly drawn to scale. Negative 2. And I'm going to subtract 4 from it. So I'm going to subtract a positive number from that. I'm sorry, what I really want to do here is not subtract a positive number, but subtract a negative number. So it looks like kind of like what I did up here. See, I did plus 2 minus plus 4. Well, now I have minus 2 minus 4. Okay, and that looks a lot of weird. There's a lot of negatives there. But really, all I do is the same thing I did before. I had minus 2, and I'm subtracting negative 4 from it, so I'm moving 4 negatives away. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I end up at positive 2. I didn't do any of the, double negative equals a positive that you're used to.